Ted Owens will join us next here on 107.9 The Franchise. Welcome back to Further Review with John Hoover and Lauren Rue here with you on this Thursday afternoon. I want to remind you can reach out to us on Twitter at Lauren_Rue, R-E-W, and at John E. Hoover. Or if you prefer to text, you can do that at 88474. Text the word Tulsa, space, and then whatever it is you want to add to the conversation, we will read those tweets and text live here on the program. Let's go now to our franchise hotline and bring in former KU coach Ted Owens to the broadcast. Thanks, Coach, for taking some time out of your afternoon to join us. I assume you are taking in some basketball there this afternoon?
Yes, pretty soon. I've been running a few errands, though, but I'll be watching it pretty soon here. KU is going to kick off in a minute.
That's right. And before we get into the basketball games, I want to ask you about the book you wrote, At the Hang-Up, is being turned into a movie now. Is that correct?
That's correct. I wrote a book pretty much about my life and called The Hang-Up, growing up on a cotton farm in southwest Oklahoma. When you get to the end of the row and you hang your sack, you call that the hang-up. And I won't get into all the details of it, but the 7th chapter of that book is a story about a miraculous season and about a baseball team that didn't play a regular season game, didn't have a practice field, didn't have uniforms, no budget, no scholarships or anything, and won the national championship. It's quite a story, but it's more a story of the effect that it had that year, and the success of that year set a bar for each of those young men, and all of them went on to enormously successful lives. And so it's just an affirmation, again, of what sports handled in the right way can do. It can open doors for you that you can't imagine and prepare you for a meaningful and successful life. And so it is going to be shot pretty soon. We have the screenplay is just finished, and we'll hire a casting director shortly. And once the cast is established, then we'll start shooting the movie. But we have a great producer, Gray Fredrickson, who produced some of the great movies, Apocalypse Now, The Outsiders, won the Academy Award for Godfather 2. So we're in really good hands. Yeah. He's one of the best in the business. So I think we're going to have a really good product. And the movie is going to be called The Hang-Up. Okay.
Ted Owens is our guest. He was a 348 career victories at the University of Kansas. Coached 2 seasons also at Oral Roberts in the 80s. He has written a book called At the Hang-Up. I read that a few years ago, Coach. It was fantastic. I loved it. And pleased to hear, by the way, this is John Hoover. Thanks for joining us. Pleased to hear that this thing is being turned into a film. How fun is that going to be to know that big-time producers, big-time Hollywood folks are making a movie about a slice of your life?
Well, it's terrific. But as much as for me, it really honors those young men that participated in that event. You know, nobody expected us to win, so it wasn't like Hoosiers where you have a big convoy of cars driving and so forth. There's just 2 lonely station wagons driving to Miami, Oklahoma to Northeastern College for the national championships. And the Lawton Constitution didn't even think enough of our chances to send a rider. So we win it, get in our station wagons and drive back. No hoopla, no parades or anything. But the most important thing of all is that nearly each one of those young men will say that overcoming those great odds and experiencing that success set a bar in their life that helped them to overcome whatever difficulties and to live really successful and meaningful lives.
Well, Coach, let's ask you now, switch to basketball because that's what you know so much about. Let's start with your Oklahoma Sooners and what kind of run you think they're going to make in this year's tournament.
Well, I think they have a chance to make a really good run. I think the draw looks good to me, although you never know. Some of these teams that you hear very little about can pop up, and I don't know too much about Bakersfield. I'm going to be there tomorrow cheering them on. But it seems to me that the draw is good. I would right now. I think Kansas and Michigan State and maybe North Carolina are the hottest teams in basketball. And not that Oregon's not good, but it seems to me that would be my preference to be in the bracket that they're in.
Coach, you know, coaching at Kansas, how difficult, challenging it is, as much as anybody alive. How amazed are you at the job that Bill Self has done when you consider 12 consecutive Big 12 championships?
It's incredible. Only a coach will understand how difficult it is to be good every year.
Yeah.
You know, here are the great programs in the country. Duke has their ups and downs. North Carolina has their ups and downs. Kentucky, the same way. But Bill is rock solid. I'm telling you, having that many championships or tying for championships in a row is incredible. And you know, Kansas is a great place, great program, and that sort of thing. But Bill and his staff have just done a wonderful job.
Ted Owens is our guest on 107.9 The Franchise. You're in with Lauren Rue, John Hoover. We call this show Further Review, but we're talking to Ted Owens, and he's the man right now because his coaching tree, get this, includes Bob Hill from the Seattle Supersonics, John Calipari, and one of my personal favorites, Scott Brooks. Coach, tell us about how the relationship you had with Scott, where you coached him at, and maybe how surprised you were that after so many injuries for the Thunder last year, they fired him anyway.
Well, John, first of all, let me say congratulations on your new job.
Thank you very much.
You're going to be terrific.
Thank you.
And I think you're going to enjoy it, have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Scotty, I was talked into helping start a new league years ago, a professional league called the World Basketball League, and the people, it was a 6'5" and under league, and people thought that if we started a league and limited that then the Japanese and the Chinese and the Orientals and the Europeans and so forth would be able to compete with us and not be at a size advantage. Remember the old stereotype.
Sure, yeah.
Oriental people are small, and then Yao Ming comes along, and but anyway, it was to be a championship over the world. Well, Scotty played for me in Fresno. I had a franchise there, and terrific player, terrific man, and I was terribly disappointed when they made a decision to let him go. He, all coaches have different views, and obviously I don't agree with anything or with everything every coach does, but I thought overall Scott had done a tremendous job. He took over from Clarissimo and turned that program around, and what Scotty is he has those guys in a great frame of mind all the time. And but anyway, they made that decision to make a change, And it's unfortunate because after they, he was saddled with, I'm trying to think of the big guy that they traded for, Perkins.
Yep.
Perkins was not very effective, but he had to play him at center. So when they made the change and brought in Cantor and so forth, Scotty never had a chance to coach that team, with everybody able-bodied. So I hate it, but he's enjoyed this year. His son is at UCLA as a freshman, and his daughter is a senior in high school. So he's enjoying a year with the family out in Orange County, and he'll be back. Some club will jump on him, and I think he'll do a great job.
Well, thanks so much, Coach, for taking some time out of your day to talk with us. You're welcome back anytime, and have a great weekend. Enjoy some basketball.
Yeah, appreciate it, Ted.
Well, okay. Thanks to both of you. Love talking to you, and hope to see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Ted. Ted Owens joining us here on 107.9 The Franchise. Some news about Travis Ford. A little bit of breaking.